Hopefully more than that.
So local board plans are a statutory requirement under the Local Government Act. The plan is aspirational, but it has an impact on staff, work programs, advocacies and grants. Community feedback has already influenced the draft. But essentially what a local board plan is the budget and work program and work priorities of the local board for the next 3 years. So every time you get a new board in, the first almost year is spent trying to come up with the direction for the next 3 years. So that means when you get the next local board in, largely their work program for that first year is influenced by the previous board. We have many different environmental initiatives. And as you know, you guys are pretty much doing all of them. Our priority is really to support the community. You guys are the ones that are living in the place and know what the issues are and doing the real mucking on the ground. So here we can see Tehina Community Day. Mark's having a korero. a great load of panel discussions, timetable, back to back from the beginning of the day, and Janet's here too, which is so cool. And really good community interaction and feedback. And we live in a beautiful place. It's worth protecting. Now, you will have seen, each of you have on your chairs submission forms. And if you just go through our basic environmental outcomes, which is also in the summary document. As I said, the enhanced relationships with mana whenua, right up in front and centre, and they will be throughout all of our objectives. And many of our objectives interrelate. So we have our basic environmental objectives. We also have one that specifically talks about the Heritage Area Act. And so I think for this point really here, I'm not sure if people have had some thoughts about some initial feedback, but the process here is that we have these consultation forms here, but I've been assured by our relationship manager that any feedback that we get from forums such as this, we can also feedback and it will be counted even if you don't officially submit. So I'm not sure how it was intended to run. Sorry, we want you all to fill that in. We want you all to fill that in. It's really important that we support our local board with environmental initiatives because we want cool stuff happening in the Waitākere Ranges, and it's really important that you add your voice to it. So if you could take a moment, it doesn't need to be today, but I'm always a master of the moment, so if you could, pull out your pen and start writing away. And if you've got any questions, I'm right
questions
here.
Now.
Okay.
Kia ora, in total called Cam's invitation to do it today, even if it's briefly, and you can always go to something else and have additional input. I was just wondering, could you briefly outline what the environmental outcomes are that you've put in the plan? I'm sorry, I don't know if other people like me, I haven't had time to look at that. There was only one copy at the front that we couldn't take away. And it's only just come out in the last, week or something?
Yes, it would have been good if it was on a slide, sorry about that.
No, that's all good. But yeah, so we don't know what we're feeding back to, basically.
Did you want to say something, Sheree?
No, I'll read them out. So I'll start with the heritage area objective. Outcome 1. The Waitākere Ranges heritage area is protected and enhanced and connections with surrounding communities are strengthened. Now this is an objective that the local board fought for because there was a proposal that instead of being an outcome on its own, it would be just imbued throughout the document. We were concerned that that our community would miss that as a really important objective. So the first bullet point there is enhance relationships with mana whenua. Local programs for stream and coastal erosion, water quality, weed and pest management, environmental programs, education and biodiversity initiatives. Support local programs for community development, local economic development, local events, community facilities and community initiatives. And these are directly relating to the objectives of the Heritage Area Act. Research to improve our understanding and promote the area's natural and cultural heritage. Promote dark sky viewing as a low-impact recreational, cultural and economic activity and progress an application for parts of the area to become a dark sky reserve. Promote the sustainable management of land and landscape in the Eastern Foothills. Support, deliver and advocate for restoration programs in ecological areas that will improve public spaces and help private landowners. Outcome 2 is we work closely with Mata Waka and Mana Whenua partners. I think we're running out of time, so I might skip the bullet points for there and just come to the environment. Environment 3, we have 4 specific points, and just bearing in mind that we didn't know what the budgetary implications of COVID-19 would be while we were drawing this up. But we're lucky, we're very, very lucky that we've managed to not have our budgets hit too hard. Outcome 3, we work to respect, protect and restore the environment. Support, fund and deliver a wide range of environmental programs and community initiatives with positive impact. Support, fund and deliver coordination of community and council programs and activities. Support tree planting. Support communities to apply for greater protection for scheduled and multiple trees. So those are the objectives that are primarily relevant to this hui today. If there are any questions, now's the time.
Objective 3, you mentioned 4 points, but I think you ran them all together. Can you say 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yes. Yeah. So not in no particular order. The first one is support, fund and deliver a wide range of environmental programs and community initiatives with a positive impact. Bullet point 2, support, fund and deliver coordination of community and council programs and activities. Outcome 3, support tree planting. Outcome 4, support communities to apply for greater protection of scheduled and notable trees.
Thank you.
So bearing in mind, primarily the focus from a council perspective is the budget. But it's very important to have the advocacy issues in your submissions as well, because that will inform what we focus on going forward. I have been given time. So I'll just, yes.
Is there time to raise an issue about the plan? I'll be very brief.
Sure.
One of the things that concerns me about my reading of the plan, while I support absolutely all the environmental issues, the changing nature of Glen Eden, I don't think is reflected in the plan fully enough, that Glen Eden is completely changing with the large development buildings. If you drive anywhere in Glen Eden now, there's apartment buildings, blocks of flats, and the green space that we had is vanishing very quickly. The other thing that worries me is that trees are being cut down and that we're going to be left with Glen Eden to be a fairly concrete and asphalt area. And I don't see that mentioned anywhere in the...
Go Project Twin Streams! Sorry, I'm in the House representing Project Twin Streams.
Absolutely, which is why it needs to be supported.
That's great. I mean, we do actually have Glen Eden in the plan, and Janet?
No, sorry, I have to cut it short.
Okay, Glen Eden is in the plan. We have outcome 5 is our communities experience well-being, belonging and participation, and we do have objectives in there that talk about how we can support that happening. The unitary plan will trump what local board says, and we will get development. And actually the 2 buildings that have gone up in Glen Eden recently, they were actually consented under the old district plan, even before the unitary plan. And I guess, you know, one good thing there is that the unitary plan, as it's written, wouldn't have allowed that those, you know, such an intensive development there. But on the other hand, if we want to be sustainable, we need to be able to have, you know,
Thank you, Saffron.